I'm going to start in legs up the wall pose, and I might incorporate the wall for a couple to few of the postures we'll do today in class. We'll kind of see how it goes. So, you have all your props. Feel free to use any of them throughout the class in ways that I reference, but also ways that you sort of discover on your own through your creative application of the props into all the postures to really support you. So I'm just going to prop a blanket underneath my sacrum and my butt, essentially, to send the legs up the wall. So I hop right on top, swing the legs up, and then lie on the back. You could do this with a block or a bolster or a sofa cushion. If you don't have a wall space, no worries. You can really improv this to meet your needs, or even just send your legs up into the air with a prop underneath your hips. So I know that a lot has happened since I started this live streaming Yin class. It seems to just have accelerated at a rapid pace. So for this next 75 minutes or so, let's just commit to letting all of that go off to the side, so we can just slow down and really be in the body and the breath, and receive the healing aspects of every posture. And then that's going to spill over into the mental body, the emotional body, whatever it is that you're thinking and feeling in this moment. Honor it by acknowledging it, feeling it, thinking it. And just like a crashing wave, let it exhale and fall away, and dissolve out into the sea. So you can ride the turbulence up, and then you can let it slowly, gracefully bring you down. And at the bottom of every wave is you here with your breath in your body, in the sanctuary of your home on your mat, with your kids, with your family, your furry friends. For all that's gone on and all you've had to change and shift and take care to. And just be here now with yourself for the duration of practice. You put a positive spin on everything by setting an intention that you'd like to take into the evening and the new week ahead. You be as kind and compassionate with yourself and others as this Yin practice wants to be with you or calls you to be with yourself. Just notice the quality of the breath, any patterns in the mind that you can settle, that you can attune. To the sound of the breath, to the sound of the audio forest. And just this general, really earthbound feeling in your body, in your bones, all your muscles soft, even around your face and your eyes, your forehead, the root of your tongue. Just take a few more rounds here to breathe fully, really well. From the base of the pelvis, all the way up and out. Inhale. And then from the crown of the head, all the way back down. Exhale. Until you're really empty in that full contraction, negative space at the end. There's just no effort, no tension. It's like a full surrender, that space at the end. There's definitely something there that wants to communicate with us, wants to teach us, wants to show us individually, collectively, universally. And then wherever you are, you're going to shift yourself into a fetal posture on either side of your body. So if you're at the wall, you're going to scoot yourself a little bit away first. So you have room to curl over to the side, using your bottom arm as a pillow. And that return of sensation and blood flow back into your toes, your feet, your legs. And then when you're ready to inhale, rise up. Come to tabletop on all fours. To cycle through some pulsing of cat-cow or bear posture is when you're barrel rolling the torso, the rib cage from your tabletop, and you really incorporate the action of cat-cow into that, and then you get more into the side bodies. Let this be really easeful, like a very watery quality movement. Just gently moving through any resistance. Reverse your directions, barrel rolling counterclockwise or clockwise if you were going counter. And then come back to a neutral tabletop and settle yourself there for a breath. Tuck your toes underneath your feet and walk your hands forward. Bringing some strength, some energy, some yang for your practice. Exhale, float the hips up. We'll take 5 breaths here in a down dog. You can take it for a walk. You can hold it static and strong. Just tap into your breath. And then bring your knees to the mat to rest gently into a child's pose. And we'll just take a few breaths here. Just every opportunity for a conscious breath. You can just take a nice sweep of the mind to clear it out and become present in your body, in the posture. Even through the transitions, make your way up to your feet so you can dangle from your hips and your spine and your head toward the earth. Nice soft bend into the knees. You can incorporate your blocks or ragdoll your arms or lightly hold the backs of the legs. Just really feel free to explore any option that you like throughout the whole ride. Just feel that light pulling, that tension stretch in the backs of the legs, backs of the hips, back of the spine. And contact belly toward thighs. That rush of blood into your head. Along with the power of your breath, power of the life force chi flowing through you. It's just able to really calm the nervous system. Take your mind into that image of a still pond where the reflection is less perturbed, more still, more clear when you gaze into it. That's the meditative mind. Sitting in the back of the mind where it's a little stiller, a little calmer, quieter. A bit more reflective, patient, yin. Always balanced with a bit of yang. Inhale, half lift. Extend the spine forward. And exhale, forward bend. Twice more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, extend the spine. Tail through the crown. Exhale, forward bend. And slowly roll your body up. Coming to standing. Mountain pose. So you can just allow yourself to take a few cycles of breath here. So if you have a wall, you can approach it and we'll use it for this next posture. Now, if you don't have a wall, you can always do it freestanding on your mat, just in a little more of a gentle, relaxed way. You can also explore this doing banana posture lying on your back. So we're going to be targeting that, that same area, that side body, but just using the wall to do it. So I'm just going to shift my Facebook camera up a little bit so you can maybe see a little better what I'm talking about. So there's quite a number of ways to do this, but if you cozy yourself all the way up to the wall, you want to have a little bit of space that you can then lean the side of your hip, the side of your waist, and then maybe even the side of the lower part of that right rib cage up to the wall. So that's your support that you can really lean into. And then your inside arm and hand is traveling up the wall. And then you're going to feel a sense of like heaviness and weight in your body, really resting into the wall, into your feet. And then in terms of where you can go from here, there's quite an array of options. So one option that might feel nice is to do the cross-legged version. So your right leg would go over with your right arm up the wall. This outside free arm can come behind you in like in a half bind. You can also just stay down the side of the leg. You're just gonna really adopt a comfortable stance in your body where you feel like you can relax. It's okay if you're not squared or on the clock. I'm not so concerned with those rigid boundaries of alignment for a yin practice. It's just about being individually where you want to be in order to receive that nice fascial stretch in the side body. So other options that might feel good, you can always dangle that top arm over your head, taking it off the wall. You can also cradle the back of your base of your skull, like the top of the neck, and give it a little bit of traction. And then lean that away from the wall as you gaze up into the right. So feel where you have contact with the wall, with the floor, with yourself. Use all those points to create a nice, heavy stability that you can leverage to find your stretch and your breath. And like if you were in banana pose, lying on the back, a common variation we would take is binding that top wrist. So you could do that here too. Taking your left hand to the right wrist with your right arm draped over your head. Hold that. Just really moderate, limit the effort. Get as easeful as you can. Keep leaning and pressing into the wall. Breathe from the low point of the body into the top point. From the root to the crown. And from the center into the circumference. Take another minute or two here to stretch into the side body. You can play with your gaze or on the rotation of your neck and your head to target the cervical spine area, the shoulders, the upper back. A few more deep breaths. Inhale to slowly start to rise, uncross, Find neutral, either in mountain pose on your mat or even at the wall. Let's tune into the steady center. What you feel there coming out of the extreme of the stretch and compression, the former posture. In this more balanced place of equilibrium. You should be able to feel some nice remnant tingling energy moving through your body, even after coming out of the posture itself. So in between sides, come into a dangle posture, again, a standing forward fold. And again, you can do it freestanding on your mat, or if you're at your wall, you can do it to your wall with your sits bones, getting that nice support on the wall. Just like a boundary that can hold you as you soften in. And let your head go. If it wants to find some movement, tap into that. Sometimes movement is really the best thing, along with the breath, for getting things moving and out of the body. Once you've sort of dislodged them from deep in your tissues, that long passive stretch, then to really just like get it out. Find some activation, some energies, get a breath. A few more full cycles. Inhale, exhale, expand, contract. Let it all spill out of your brain, off your shoulders, out of your lower back. And then slowly roll up. You can bend your knees. Pause for a breath so you don't feel dizzy or anything. And then come to the other side of either your banana pose lying on your back, or you can do it standing side stretch on your mat, or you can use the wall. So feel free to play with the options. Make up your own version. Make sure that you have enough space that you can really lean into the support. So just that right from the beginning, you're already setting your body up for that side opening, for that tension stretch on the left, and then more of the compressive action on the right. You can go parallel legs, or you can cross the left side over like you would in banana pose. Kind of a nice way to get into the frontal inside hip. So you feel the side of your left hip, waistline, maybe that lower to mid part of the rib cage. So you can work it there and take it into your half bind. Extend your outside arm down the leg. You can focus it even more into the upper side body by leaning away from the wall and reaching out more towards center. You drape your top arm just so you don't have to exert in the shoulder too much to reach and lift it. Take that passive bind on the wrist or even the fingertips interlocked. Or the left hand to the top of the neck, base of the skull. And then just scan the body and notice where you're over efforting. Can you soften there? A lot of that depends on, just like how well you set your body up in the shape to be able to soften as much as possible. Breathe into that left lung. Your yoga practice, keeping your breath and your lungs and all your respiratory organs so strong and vital. So much gratitude for that. Remember, generally, in Yin, we hold the same pose for a good few minutes, right? But you can always shift the expression a little bit. You have that inner craving or that intuition, that curiosity to shift it. Go for it. Because sometimes you can just find, different aspects that feel good when you explore and investigate. Maybe even to the areas that you wouldn't normally go. Let's be here a little bit longer in this passive side stretch. Clearing the mind of any excess thought. Just by focusing on the sensations in the body, the subtle energies produced by the practice, your awareness turning inward. And that intention that you set at the beginning, just hold you accountable to the present moment with your breath. A few more rounds. And when you're ready to come up, rise. Find your mountain, or if you were on your back in the banana posture, you can stay on your back and repose in Shavasana, or the hook line position with your feet flat on the mat and your knees bent up. Just notice what's there when you come back to center. Now, having done both sides, you feel like there's more space and potential mobility between your hips and your ribs. More capacity for the lungs to take in air and to release. More flow of chi through the body's meridians and energetic channels. And then once you feel you've been there for enough, you come back to the dangle posture. If you're standing on your mat or at the wall with your sits bones leaning back into the wall. It's kind of this nice opportunity at the wall to really sink back into the heels, into the butt, into the wall. A few more breaths. Inhale, lengthen your spine forward to that half lift. And exhale to bend forward. Come onto the hands and the knees. And return to child's posture. Now, if you want to prop it up, you can absolutely prop it up. Use a bolster underneath your torso. So the edge comes between the thighs. And you'll have your big toes together behind you. Sits bones to the heels, or put a blanket in between, or even cozy up more behind your knees if you need to decrease the compression there a little bit. And just give yourself some more cushy support and space to work with. Because we'll take a few minutes here in child's pose. Allow yourself to lengthen forward as you rest down, and either a cheek to the bolster, or if you're on the mat, you can rest your third eye, or you can also turn your cheek or your temple down on the mat as well. You can also incorporate blocks if you have them as a prop. It's also good scaffolding for the body. And breathe here into your kidneys, right behind the waist. You can feel this puffiness happen with every inhale. This fullness, this connection there into the back body. This is a good way to know you're taking really good deep breaths. You can take your opposite cheek, the side of the face down, twist the neck in the other direction, find some balance. How does it feel to surrender into the earth, into the awareness of your own self, your breath, your inner landscape? Not what's happened in the past or what's going to happen in the future, just what is right now. This time on your mat. Breathing into your kidneys, breathing into your hips, your lower back. A few more deep breaths. Inhale, lift yourself up. So we're going to come into a dragon posture from here, which is basically any form of a lunge that you want to play with this afternoon for your practice. It can literally be as simple or as layered as you like. Let's say we'll start with our right foot coming forward, left leg back. Prop yourself up under your hands, underneath your back thigh, underneath your forearms, your forehead. Literally any way you want to be in the lunge, you're just going to feel this nice stretch on the front of your left hip, on the inside of your right thigh, through your lower back. And then as promised, I'm going to guide this as a wall version. So this is like the wall dragon lunge. Or in a more active practice, you might have heard it called King Arthur's pose. This is a big like frontal thigh, frontal hip posture. I would say it's considered a little more of a back bend. But, you know, most lunges really do have that element of back bend. So if you come all the way up to the wall, and notice that I added a blanket just because I want lots of extra cushion underneath my knee. I'm going to take that left knee, the side of the knee, all the way up, flush to the wall. And then I'm going to rotate the foot upwards, walk the hands toward the center, and then put my weight onto the right foot, just like that in a lunge. So you could also stay on this angle. You can definitely rotate your right foot outward. You could come to your forearms here. Or you can frame it. And if this is enough, you just stay here. Soften your hips forward. If you want a little more, you can come more upright. And this could be a nice opportunity to stack the blocks propped up underneath your right hip, so you don't have to work so hard to maintain that lunge leg. And then you can come right here. So you probably can't see it very well, but my left heel, if you were to draw a line from the center of the heel straight forward, it's pretty much going right on the outside of the left hip. With the toes straight up. So again, the more that you can really soften your pelvis, think about melting it down into the earth, the more you're going to feel that tension stretch at the front of the left thigh and the hip. Now if you're at this wall dragon, you can definitely stay just a little more upright, or you can lean yourself forward, become the thinker, or even rest your third eye onto your fist. Round down through the back knee, get heavy into the front foot. Just notice when a wave of deep breath wants to come in, really allow it to flood your inner body. It's some sort of issue deep in the tissue. It's getting dislodged, ready to be flushed out. Out with the old, in with the new. About another minute. When you're ready to slowly come out and take it into a repose of your choice, which is the fun part. You get to really go wherever you want, wherever you can chill, wherever you can be really neutral, centered, relaxed. It's like no biggie to be there. You can use props or not. So turning inward to reflect, and to sit at the back of the mind. Drop the awareness deeper down into the body. Always bringing attention back to that steady center, place of more equilibrium, serenity, presence. And take it into your other side when you're ready. Dragon pose. So again, it's any version of a lunge that you want to rock for your practice today. Left foot in front. I'm going to do it at the wall. Side of the knee comes all the way up flush. And then that shin and foot rotates upward. You're going to put your weight onto those blocks, onto your hands, so you can swing your left foot forward. And then again, maybe you stay more on this open angle. So like when your hands or forearms are on the inside of your left foot, and you're stretching a little bit over to the right side. You can come to the forearms. You can play with the angle on that front foot. Or you can frame it coming more toward the center. Now you should have a good view of the angle on that back foot up the wall. And the connection of all the toes. And let your hips soften. Every inhale, you're creating more space, so that on every exhale, you can soften into that space. And right into the bottom, the base, the empty, the negative void, the yin. And that's really where you find your edge at the bottom of every exhale. You can set up alternate variations that you might want to play with. I'm using the blocks here to pretty much take the weight of my left hip. Right into the sit bone. Center of the right heel, if I drew a line straight forward, it would pretty much graze the side of the hip. Now it's okay if you're not in like that much precision in the posture. Just like a general guideline. Make any shifts that you need anytime. Sometimes it's like moving a little micrometer can make a world of a difference. And just notice if one side is maybe a little more stubborn than the other. One side likes to grip and hold on a bit tighter. It just takes a little longer to really soften into the edge. So you can notice where there's resistance and you can work with it, not pushing too far past yet, getting curious about what that is. It is a practice of really investigating all the possible ways we can access the body, that we can move it, stretch it, compress it, release it, open it up, get the energy pathways fluid, connected. Allow yourself to come more downward with your gaze if you like. Just a little more of that introspective energy. It'll take about another minute or so here. Just notice when there's any kind of gnarly energies that you're confronting or working with, if that translates into any gnarling of your face or any other part of your body. So remember to soften. So where's that ease? How can you bring it in even when a posture is full of discomfort, hard edges, resistance? Where can you bring in the ease? You can slowly come out of that when you're ready. Take an easy repose. Just checking all the time. Okay, Instagram, I'm going to take advantage of this little pause to restart you, just so that it doesn't drop off, because it's only like a 55-minute limit. So I'm going to restart you. Join back in. Thanks. All right. Okay. So I feel like we've gotten those hips pretty good. Can always get them a little more, right? So take a seat. And I'll say, if you have a little sofa cushion or a little blanket you can prop your hips up on, that might be very helpful. For square pose, which is really your preferred version of a seated forward folding hip stretch. All of these variations fall under this one category of square pose. Cross-legged or ankle to knee shins stacked. choir log or double pigeon, or other names for that, or this is the shoelace posture. Your knees stacked and your shins and feet going out into opposite directions. So whichever you choose, just mental note for which leg is on top or which leg's in front. So you'll know when we switch that you're on the other side. And if you're propped up in your pelvis, be more on the front ledge of that prop so that you're not encouraging yourself to sink and tilt back into your tailbone or into the back of the hips, that you're really going more forward. And again, you are settling into a more relaxed version of the posture. So once you feel that you find the shape that works for you, you can soften all those little outer elements, like any rigidity in the feet. And then you can soften your spine and your head down into a forward bend. If you have a bolster, that might come in handy here. You can prop it up like that if you're planning to just slightly bend forward. Or you can place it more downward and then fold deeper in that way. And then you can always stack it with blocks underneath if you want to be propped up a little higher. So we'll do a few minutes here in the square. You can be literally in any variation of this that works for you. There are no hard rules. Honor all unique individual expressions, because that's true nature. Just for everything that has changed and shifted in your exterior, notice what's the same in your interior. Like this part of you, this core essence that always remains. This breath, this inner peace, inner acceptance, inner harmony. Divine, great nature. So I literally feel like I could stay there forever, like 10 more minutes at least. How are you doing? Here comes Miss Kitty announcing that she's hungry for dinner. It's too early. So we're gonna come on up out slowly in that square posture. And it's gonna be a simple switch to the other side. Now, if you wanna just take a moment, kind of in between, to just reflect, come back to your center, that's fine. If you feel ready to just go ahead and switch it out, that's cool too. Maximize the time for this deep hip opener, square posture, whichever variation you chose, all good. Take a few minutes to bend forward in the seat. Once you've found the shape and the orientation with the props and everything to support you, you can just take a giant inhale and fill all the way up. And a complete full body exhale to empty all the way to the bottom. That yin space, heavy in your body. So just really notice and get to ponder that negative space there of the yin, the bottom of the exhale. Just relax through your ankles and your feet and your toes. Just another reminder to soften your hips. And take a few more deep breaths. And you can slowly come out from there. Find a neutral position to repose. Okay, we're gonna go through one last posture before Shavasana. So this pose is on your back. And it's basically a supine twist. But I'm going to teach it as a cat chasing its tail posture. So if you can just roll onto your right side and then bend your bottom right leg so that your left hand can catch a hold. Start to kick back there and then bend your left knee up and forward there. You can also opt to extend that leg all the way. And then as you kick back your right foot into your left hand, that peels your left shoulder and chest open into the spinal twist. So that's like your cat chasing its tail back there. And with the right hand on the outside of the left leg. You can always put a prop underneath that knee, underneath that leg. You can take this in any other version of a spinal twist you like on your back. You can just let go of the efforting. There's no pinnacle, it's just a cycle. Up, down, and around, breath by breath. Just you being in the posture. Take your time to unwind from there to center. Hang in the center for a good few breaths, such as in a repose. So you can just really reflect here on everything you've done in the practice thus far, how your body feels compared to an hour ago. Quality in the mind. Keep that mantra or intention that you set for yourself at the beginning of practice. To carry you through this last side, this last twist, into final resting pose. So to make it easy for cat chasing its tail, if you come onto your left side and then you bend your bottom knee, so really that work we did at the wall will help prep nicely for this. You catch your right hand to your left foot, you bend your right knee forward, and then you kick back, cat chasing its tail, to draw the right shoulder downward. I've sort of run out of room here for the extension, but you can also extend that right leg. Or prop it up. Bring it out. Soften and spill into the earth. And find any hard edges with the soft quality of the breath. Take your time. When you're ready to come out, spiral back to the center. You can remain on your back or from your belly. Flip to come onto your back or press into any other repose or counter stretch. That might feel good. So, seeing as we have about 6 minutes left till you hit that 75-minute mark, I'm going to say now's your time to take anything you want to do for yourself, and then come into Shavasana or legs up the wall pose or seated meditation, however you want to finish. And I'm going to actually set myself up for a few minutes with you all in legs up the wall pose, which is the posture I started in. I don't know if you started it that way too, but you can end it that way if you like. And if you have a sweater that you want to put it on so that you stay nice and warm and cozy for your final rest. The body temperature always drops in final Shavasana. Even more than it does just on its own through the course of the Yin practice. So remember, you made that promise to yourself at the beginning of class. Just leave all the craziness that's happened in the last month, basically. Leave it off the space of your mat. And to just honor this time with yourself like you are honoring your connection to spirit in a temple. The temple here is just the temple of your body. The temple of your yoga mat. The sanctuary of your home. Just honor your efforts in carving out this time, honoring these really important boundaries in the home space of time for self-care, for practice, for meditation, for reflection. Tapping into that receptivity that allows you to just go with the flow of life, more ease. Just to give up any hard gripping or control. On the exterior, to focus on what you can control in the interior, which is your breath. your imagination, the wave of thought that you choose to ride, that you choose to let pass you by or dive under, or jump over. Just give yourself this gift now so you can really face this whole month ahead. All the new challenges it's presenting already. Like doing yoga undisturbed by your pet. So you know that you can do it. You can continue on this path of yoga, consciousness. Inner to outer, outer to inner connection. No matter what's happening on the outside, you stay dedicated and committed to that with yourself.